Hey grade 8s, happy Friday! So good work on probability so far. You guys are absolutely crushing it. You're doing amazing. Today we are going further into experimental and theoretical probability. First of all, we're going to do a review just based off of our last lesson, which was flipping a coin. So you had the assignment of, oh, if I flip a coin 10 times, how many times should it land on heads? How many times should it land on heads or on tails? And then you actually did the experiment. So you took a coin and you actually flipped it, or you went on Google and did heads or tails. So for example, if I have a 5-cent coin here, the nickel, what are the odds of it landing on heads? If I flip it 10 times, how many times should it land on heads? It should land 5 times on heads and then 5 times on tails. Now, if you actually did the experiment, you might have found that your 5-cent coin actually landed 6 times on heads and then 4 times on tails. And you also were using 2 coins at the same time. So you had a 5-cent coin and a 10-cent coin. How many times did both land on heads? How many times did both land on tails? And those were along the lines of the probability you were doing for that one. So it was a really good intro into experimental probability. So today we're actually going a little bit further into experimental probability as, whoops, sorry, where did my slide go? It disappeared. Okay, there we go. Today we're going further into experimental and theoretical probability. So this time around, you are going to be given either a spinner on a sheet, so it'll just look like, it will just look something like this, and it'll have the different wedges, or the different slices. You also have another option, because I created this thing for you, is right here. It is a spinner that has the correct markings that you are going to need for today, where you are actually going to run an experiment. So it's going to ask you, and it's going to give you a chart that says, oh, how many times should the spinner land on orange? Or like how many slices are orange? So what are the odds of it landing on an orange? So we look at the spinner, and sorry it's not color coded to the correct color, so this program wouldn't let me do it, but it does have the correct label, so you just have to read the label. So orange is right here. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1 wedge out of 8 is orange. All right. And if I were to spin the spinner 32 times, what are the odds of it landing on, or how many times should it land on orange? To figure that one out, we already know 1 out of 8 chances. So if I spin the spinner 8 times, 1 out of 8 of those should be orange. If I spin it 32 times, how many times should it land on orange? In order to do this, we need to figure out what the equivalent fraction is. We have to figure out what that is. So how we do so is basically we times this, so out of 8, so 8 to get to 32. We times both of these numbers by 4. The reason being is 8 times 4 is equal to 32. Therefore, 1 times 4 is 4. So what this represents is, if I spin the spinner 32 times, 4 out of all those 32 times should be orange. All right, so let's try that again with another color. Let's try green. So we have 1 green wedge. So 1 green wedge out of 8 equal slices. How many times should it land on 32? We do the same process that we did for orange. We times both of these numbers by 4. And this will give me 4 over 32. So 4 out of 32 times it will land on green. Let's try with another color. Let's try red. There's a bunch of red slices. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 red slices. So I have 4 red slices. So 4 out of 8 spins should be on red. If I were to spin the spinner 32 times, I just times both of these by 4. Times 4 and times 4 equals 16 out of 32. You can use a calculator to help you out with this portion. All right, so these are all our theoretical probabilities, as in, if I spin the spinner 8 times, 1 out of 8 times should land on orange. Will they actually land on orange if we spin them? Let's see. So I'm going to spin the spinner 8 times. 1, 2, we're looking for the color orange. 3, 1, so 1 time. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. In this case, yes, it landed 1 out of those 8 spins on orange. Now let's try with another fraction. So this time, let's try with red. Red is supposed to land 4 out of 8 times. It's supposed to land on red. So let's try that out. All right, 1, 2, so 1 red, 3, 4, 2 reds, 5, 3 reds, 6, 4 reds, 7, 5 reds, 8. 6 reds. So we spun the spinner 8 times. 6 out of those 8 times were on the color red. So this is what I mean by theoretical and experimental. Theoretical is 4 out of 8 times it should land on red because 4 slices out of the 8 are red. But when we actually spun them, it ended up being 6 times out of those 8. All right, so today you're going to have a worksheet that has a bunch of charts on it where you are going to write down what the probability should be of spinning that color and what it actually is when you spin it. The sheet does come with a spinner attached, so if you want, you can print it out, use a pencil and a paper clip to dry it, or I will share this link to you, and the spinner is already made for you, so all you have to do is click it and just keep track of it, so keep track of how many times you spun it, and then you'll be able to use it that way. So the choice is up to you. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. I will see you guys on Monday. Let me know if you have any questions whatsoever, and keep on rocking it. You guys are doing awesome. All right, thank you.